Hello everyone, I am thrilled to be introducing you to the new features in Navigator 7.0. Since the very beginning of Navigator, one of the fundamental differences between Navigator and other project overview tools has been that Navigator supports multiple windows, with each window displaying the controls for a single card or group. That changes in Navigator 7.0. You can still have as many Navigator windows as you like, but now each window can display the controls for any set of cards and groups. Here in the stack list, I can select multiple stacks, then right-click and select Browse Controls, and Navigator will display all of the stacks in the same list. I can display cards and groups in any order I like in Navigator and do anything I would ordinarily do in Navigator. For example, I can drag controls from stack Untitled 2 into stack Untitled 1, or select controls from both stacks and drag them into stack Untitled 2. To browse multiple containers, in addition to right-clicking any set of containers in Navigator and selecting Browse Controls, you can hold down the Shift key while performing any action that sets the browse target to add containers to the list. For example, if I use the Target tool to select the stack Untitled 1, Navigator displays just the controls from this card of Untitled 1. If I then use the Target tool again and hold down the Shift key while selecting stack Untitled 2, Navigator adds Untitled 2 to the list and displays the controls from both Untitled 1 and 2. If I use the Target tool without holding the Shift key, Navigator goes back to displaying just the controls from Untitled 2. Navigator's display list is completely flexible. I can hold down the Shift key while selecting the same stack again, and Navigator will display the stack twice. And at any time, I can select groups in the list to browse, and if I hold down the Shift key, they get added to the list. You can also hold down the Shift key while making selections from the Target and Card menu. So for example, if I hold down the Shift key while selecting Untitled 1, it gets added to the list. The card menu reflects the cards of the most recently selected stack, so if I hold down the Shift key while selecting card ID 1002, that gets added to the list. Card ID 1004 gets added to the list. And I can also hold down the Shift key while making selections of the recently accessed stacks, so if I select this from the recent items, that gets added to the list. To remove a container from the list, simply right-click the container and select Stop Browsing from the pop-up menu. Navigator will remove the container from the display while retaining the others in the list. Again, in any Navigator display, you can select any set of cards and groups and right-click and select Browse Controls to view those containers. And if you hold down the Shift key, they will be added to the display list instead of replacing it. Creating Navigator 7 required completely reworking how Navigator relayers controls, which resulted in several improvements. First, if you drag a control beneath a group, Navigator is now able to relayer the control properly without placing it into the group. Of course, you can still drag controls into and out of groups. And if you drag a grouped control to the bottom of the group, it will remain in the group. The new relayering code is smart about whether to move or duplicate controls. Even if there are two representations of a container in the list, dragging a control from one to the other will simply relayer the control without duplicating it. On the other hand, dragging a control from one container to another will duplicate it. Just as you can with your operating system, holding the Option key reverses this behavior. If you hold the Option key while dragging a control within its container, the control will be duplicated. And if you hold the Option key while dragging a control to a different container, the control will be moved to the new location and removed from the original. So that's the new multi-target feature of Navigator 7. I hope it works great for you, and I look forward to your feedback.